Hi everybody, welcome to another literacy lesson. Make sure that you've got everything that you need and we're going to get started straight away with our Vocab Blast. Okie dokie, so today's words. We've got some new words today. I know we've been learning a lot of new words recently, but don't worry because we'll go back over them lots of times to make sure that we've got them clear in our brains. First word, seizing. I'll say it and then you can say it. Seizing. Seizing. Fantastic, well done. So seizing means picking up or grabbing something really suddenly. And you can see there I've got that hand ready to seize something, to pick it up, to grab it, to seize it. So that word is seizing. Let's say it one more time. Fantastic, well. Our next word today is axe. I'll say it and then you can say it. Axe, your turn. Axe. Fantastic. An axe is this tool here. You can see it's got a sharp end and a wooden handle. It's often used for chopping wood or just chopping up other things in general, but mostly it's used for chopping wood. And we call that an axe. What is it? Axe. Well done. And our last word today, mightily. Mightily. I'll say it, you can say it. Mightily. Mightily. Fantastic. And if you do something mightily, it means you're doing it with a lot of force. I've got a picture of a strong man here, and you can see that he is lifting up these really heavy weights. He is doing it mightily. We are very impressed with him. He's doing this mighty thing here by holding up these really, really heavy weights with a lot of force. So that word is mightily. Say it again. Fantastic. Right, let's see if we can remember what these words are. Okay, the first word, it means picking up or grabbing something suddenly. That word is seizing. Well done. This is a tool that is used for chopping wood. We call it an axe. Fantastic. And the last one, this word means with a lot of force. He lifted the weights mightily. Brilliant. Now that we've done that, let's see if we can match them up with the correct picture. So our first picture, we've got this hand. It's looking like it's going to grab something. Is that mightily, seizing, or axe? Shout it out. It's seizing. Well done. The hand is seizing the oranges from the fruit bowl. Our next one, what is this a picture of? Is this mightily or an axe? Fantastic, it's an axe. Well done. And the last one, we've got the strong man lifting up the weights mightily. Brilliant. Well done, year two. What a fantastic start. So let's have a think about what has happened so far in the story that we have been reading. I'm going to read you all of these things, but they're in the wrong order. So let's see if we can put them in the right order. The giant threatens to eat Jim. Jim notices a beanstalk and climbs up it. The giant complains about his looks, so Jim offers to help him get a wig. The giant complains about his eyes, so Jim offers to help him get some glasses. Jim sees a castle and knocks on the door. A giant invites him in. The giant complains about eating, so Jim offers to help him get some false teeth. What a load of nonsense. That doesn't make any sense at all in the order that it's in. I want you to tell the person in your room what happens first in the story. What is the first thing to happen? Brilliant. So hopefully we've all remembered that the first thing in the story is that Jim notices a beanstalk and he climbs up it. So I'm going to put that at the top. What happens next? Jim climbs up to the top of the beanstalk, and what happens? Tell somebody in the room what happens when he gets to the top of the beanstalk. Amazing, well done. He sees a castle, he knocks on the door, and a giant invites him inside to have some breakfast. What happens next? The giant doesn't threaten to eat Jim yet. That happens at the very end. So I think I'm going to put that at the end now. But which order do these things happen in? Does the giant complain about the way he looks? Does he complain about his eyes? Or does he complain about not being able to eat first? Which one? Fantastic. He complains about his eyes first. He says he can't read the poetry, so Jim offers to get him some glasses. What does he complain about next? Does he complain about the way he looks? Or does he complain about not being able to eat? Fantastic. He complains about not being able to eat, so he gets him some false teeth. Which means the next thing he complains about is the way he looks. Fantastic. He wants some new hair, so Jim gets him a wig. And in the end, the giant threatens to eat him. Oh no, and that's where we left the story yesterday, so I wonder what is going to happen next. What do you think will happen next? What do you predict will happen next? Do you think the giant will chase after Jim and eat him? Do you think Jim will get away safely? What do you think? Tell somebody in the room. What do you predict will happen next? Brilliant. There are lots of different things that you could have said there, so we're not going to talk about them now, but I want you to listen carefully and see if what you predicted came true. It's the last page. Above him, he could hear the thunder of the giant's footsteps. Seizing an axe, Jim swung mightily and chopped down the beanstalk. Oh my goodness, 3 of our words that we've done in our Vocab Blast today are in the same sentence. So he grabbed an axe and he swung mightily. He swung really hard and he chopped down the beanstalk. At the very moment the beanstalk fell, something else landed beside Jim with a thud. It was a huge piece of paper wrapped around a giant gold coin. On the paper was written, "Dear Jim, thank you for the teeth and the glasses, also the lovely wig. Your friend, the giant." Oh, well, that's nice because the giant didn't say thank you at any time during the story, so at least he said thank you in the end. Jim ran inside and showed the giant gold coin to his mother. "At last you can keep a coin for yourself," she said. Somewhere in the distance, Jim heard the rumble of giant laughter. Do you think that the giant really was a friend to Jim? I think that the giant wasn't really a very good friend because he kept demanding that Jim find things for him to make him look better, make him feel better about himself, help him to see, help him to eat. And he never said thank you until the very, very end when he did say thank you and he gave him a gold coin. But I don't know if that would make them friends. What do you think? Do you think the giant was a good friend? So, was your prediction correct? What did you think was going to happen? I thought maybe that the giant was going to chase after Jim, just like in the Jack and the Beanstalk story, and that the giant was going to fall off the beanstalk as Jim cut it down. That didn't quite happen. Jim did cut down the beanstalk, but the giant didn't fall. The giant stayed up in the clouds. What about your prediction? Was yours right or wrong? And why? Tell somebody in the room, were you right or wrong? Why? Brilliant. So now I want you to have a think about what did you like and dislike about the story. We don't have to like every single thing that we read. Just like with music, when I teach you music and I say we don't have to like all the music we listen to. It's going to be the same about stories. We don't have to like them. But maybe there were some things that you did like and some things that you didn't like. I liked the story. I thought it was a really nice story about a boy being really kind to somebody that he didn't know and helping him to feel better. I didn't like the giant. I thought the giant was very, very horrible, and he wasn't a very nice friend. What did you like? What did you dislike? You can pause the video and tell somebody in the room what you liked and disliked about the story. Or you can pause the video and you can write a couple of things down on your piece of paper. What did you like? What did you not like? Brilliant, well done. Is there anything about the book that puzzled you, that you found confusing maybe, or that you found strange? I thought it was strange that the giant said thank you at the end, because I thought all the way through the giant is not a very nice person. All he thinks about is eating Jim. So I was surprised at the end that the giant said thank you. Was there anything you were surprised about? Tell somebody in the room. And lastly, is there anything that you would like to ask the author of the book, Raymond Briggs? There's a picture of him on the slide. Is there anything you'd like to ask him? Maybe you want to know why he decided to make the giant say thank you in the end. Maybe you want to know why he wrote a book about Jim and the Beanstalk when there was already Jack and the Beanstalk. Write down a question you'd like to ask the author on your piece of paper. Well done, everybody. So now we have finished the whole of Jim and the Beanstalk. At the beginning of learning about Jim and the Beanstalk on Friday, we talked about things that were similar and different to Jack and the Beanstalk after we'd watched a little video about Jack. We're going to have another think now that we've heard the whole story about what is similar and what is different. This is also the activity that you're going to be doing for your challenges today. We're going to have a go at doing this together. Pay close attention if you usually do the 3-star challenge, because your activity is going to be to do this. So, what ideas can you think of that are the same and different between Jack and the Beanstalk and Jim and the Beanstalk? What can you think of that's the same and different? Well, I'm going to start off by giving you a couple of examples. Remember, if you usually do the 3-star challenge, listen carefully to this part, because you're going to have to do this for your activity. What was the same? What was similar between the stories? I'm going to start at the beginning again, because that's the easiest way, I think, to do this. So at the start of Jack and the Beanstalk, Jack is given a cow by his mother, and he goes and meets a wizard who gives him some magic beans. Does that happen at the beginning of Jim and the Beanstalk? No, so that's something that's different. So the first thing that I'm going to write is Jack trades a cow for magic beans. This is how the beanstalk grows. Jim wakes up to find the beanstalk. So that was something that was different. If you're doing the 3-star challenge, this might be something that you want to write down on your sheet. It looks just like mine, except it's got lines on it to help you. And I want you to write down some things that are similar and different between the stories. This is just an idea to get you started. Straight away, I'm thinking, oh, Jack, Jim, something that is similar is that they have a name starting with the letter J. So I'm going to write for similar, they both have names that begin with J. And I'm going to put that in the similar section. Okay? So if you're doing the 3-star challenge, I want you to write down all the things you can think of that were similar and all the things that you can think of that were different. If you're not sure how many to do for each, I would say do 5 things that are different and 5 things that are similar. But you can do more if you want to. Okay? If you can think of lots of things, then write them all down. I'll be really impressed with that. What's similar and what's different? If you're doing the 2-star challenge, you've already got some ideas written down for you that you can cut and stick and put in the right places. If you don't have scissors and glue, that's okay. You can just copy them. So one of the ones I've got says, the boy steals from the giant. Is that similar or different in the stories? If it's similar, it means it happens in both stories. If it's different, it means it only happens in one of the stories. The boy steals from the giant. Which story does that happen in? Fantastic, that happens in Jack and the Beanstalk. In Jim and the Beanstalk, the giant gives him the money. He doesn't steal it. So this is something that's different. It's not in both stories. Let's try another one. The boy is given gold by the giant. Does that happen in both stories? Is that something that's similar in both stories? Or is that something that's different? Does it only happen in one story? Fantastic, it just happens in Jim and the Beanstalk, doesn't it? What about the giant threatens to eat the boy? Does that happen in both stories? Is that something that's similar? Or does it only happen in one story? Is it something that's different? Well done. That happens in both stories. Let's do one more and then we'll leave it there. The boy and the giant become friends. Does that happen in both stories? Is that similar? Or does it only happen in one story? Is it different? Fantastic, it's different. What story does this happen in? The boy and the giant become friends. Well done. That happens in Jim and the Beanstalk, doesn't it? So that is the 2-star challenge. If you're doing the 1-star challenge, you've got the same activity, but you've got the communicate in print to help you read the sentences. Let's do a couple together. The giant tries to eat the boy. Does that happen in both stories or just one of the stories? Fantastic, it happens in both stories. They are similar because the giant tries to eat the boy in both stories. The giant lives in a castle. Is that in both stories? Is it similar? Or is it in only one of the stories? Is it different? Well done, it happens in both stories. It's something similar. The boy steals from the giant. Does that happen in both stories? Is it similar? Or does it happen in one story? Is it different? Fantastic, it's just one story. Jim doesn't steal anything from the giant, but Jack does. So those are all of the activities that you're going to be doing today. I can't wait to see what things you come up with for the similarities and differences between Jack and Jim. Bye, everybody.